Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at one of the classic rock bands, if not the most famous classic rock band there has ever been, the one and only Led Zeppelin. Now, Led Zeppelin for me are one of the Holy Trinity. You've got Zeppelin, you've got Sabbath, and you've got Purple. For me, they're the ones that really sit on the top of the throne. I've always been quite vocal about how I would put Zeppelin behind Purple and Sabbath, but if you want to talk about who I think is great singers and great drummers and great musicians, I'll have the debate all day long. If you want to put Jimmy Page up against Blackmore, that's fine. You want to put Plant against a Gillan or an Ozzy or a Dio, that's fine. I think they're all unbelievable players. Jimmy Page, for me, never hit the heights of Blackmore, but his songwriting and the way he wrote his riffs, along with the likes of like Tony Iommi, were legendary. Some of the stuff he's written from some of the sort of the easy riffs of something like Kashmir. Simple little things like that, to when we've got bit of Black Dog. What a great guitarist. Apologies if I butchered some of those, but I don't ever listen to Zeppelin. I haven't done for a long time. So what we're looking at today is my personal favourite, rock and roll. Now, why rock and roll is one of my favourites is because it's super simple and it has a drum shuffle like no other. It's extremely tricky to play. It doesn't sound it. This was something I tried to learn on the drums when I started playing the drums, and it took me a long time to get used to actually how he was playing it. And I actually looked at a really good Brian Tichy video, because a lot of people play this on the drums wrong, even though it sounds simple. This is live at Nebworth 1979. We're going to go through this, have a little look. I haven't heard this version. Obviously, I know rock and roll. I've heard the album track millions and millions of times, and I've seen them when they play it on a reunion gig. Absolutely cracking. I doubt this is going to be any worse. I think it's going to be a lot better, because this is from '79, so this is their, the end of their heyday. Let's get a look, see what it's about. So I mean about that drum. Right, so how this is drum intro. Let's get back to this. It's how the snare interplays with the hi-hat. That is the key to that, and it is so much better than you think it is if you haven't tried to play it or you don't understand how he plays it. Classic. Drums are just driving consistently, just pushing. It's not fancy, there's no massive fills in this. It's just a train going straight forward. Almost reminds you a bit AC/DC-ish, but faster. It's just going straight down and everyone's coming off of it. Robert Plant, yeah, what a voice. Does it get any cooler than a 70s Robert Plant? Flowing mane, open shirt. Man, I think he pretty much appealed to every single woman in the world. And some men, I'd imagine, as well. Jimmy Page, love his guitar tone. He's not, for me, I don't put him with a Blackmore or Iommi purely from a technical standpoint, but some of the stuff he's written, I mean, this is great. Great. bass drum, hi-hat, like a train, forward. No fancy fills, no nothing. Doesn't need it. Bonham's the triplet king. Everyone knows that. He doesn't need to mess about in this. This is what, to me, makes it so special because it's so different. Jimmy Page's tone is very 70s. It's about as 70s as 70s gets. His setup, his guitar, his amp, his effects, or lack of, everything makes it sound like it's straight out of the 70s, which it is. And I think, there's no wonder bands like Greta Van Fleet and things like that are, take a lot of inspiration from these guys. These guys were around the same time as Purple and Sabbath, maybe a year before. I don't know. You might correct me on that one. Put that in the comments. But yeah, Plant. Plays with so much heart. It's that element that gives Zeppelin that sounds that really separated them. It's almost like a bit of a mystical feel, and I don't know where that comes from. The guy was a big session musician. I think he's played on thousands of sessions in the 60s, same as Blackmore did. So obviously he created his own style through playing with other bands and happened to be forced to play in a certain way, and he's created his own style. And he's just shining in this. It's absolutely cracking. This is a very, very good live track. So if you like Zeppelin, get on this one. There we go. There he goes. Didn't expect the drum fill at the end, but that was a little bit of show of his power. The dude is an absolute beast of a player. Out of all the musicians in Zeppelin, Bonham does it for me. He tops the lot. And I'm always generally going to choose a guitarist or a singer as what draws me to a band. But him specifically, drums, I really think he's up there. I mean, I know everyone says Bonham or Baker or Pace, but I think it was his inventiveness at the time, really brought it. And although that I wouldn't have Zeppelin in my top 5 rock bands of all time, maybe not in my top 10, I would have Bonham sitting somewhere around Pace, Powell, give or take, so he'd be right up there. So that just goes to show how much we love him. And John Paul Jones on that. The bass line is just, again, thunderous all the way through, nice and simple. I love Zeppelin. Don't love all of it, but when they get it right, they just hit that 10 out of 10. And I think a lot of bands around that time, like take for example for me, if you took Sabbath with Ozzy, there's some songs that hit sort of 8, 9 out of 10 for me. Zeppelin don't do that regularly. For me, they're 6 or 7s, and then they hit 10s. Immigrant Song, Rock and Roll, Kashmir, and those songs, Stairway to Heaven, obviously, they take it so much further, and they really hit that. You cannot get any better. So when Zeppelin are on it, for me, they literally are the greatest rock band on the planet. I mean, it's very hard to deny how great they were, and I mean, even now, they really are. They're still hailed as the greatest rock band of all time. I think it would be interesting to see how they would have fared through the 80s if they had kept the output going. Would they have stayed on track? A few of those bands in the big, from the big 70s bands did stray a little bit and messed about with their sound, but you could see how good they came when they came back with their reunion. And I love Plant solo stuff. And Page, if you do get a chance and you haven't heard it, or if you're watching this, I presume you're a Zeppelin fan, Coverdale and Page, great album. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of Zeppelin, what you think of this video, and you think of this version, if there's any other better versions of Rock and Roll Live that you'd like me to have a little look at, or you think I should just watch because I should know more about them. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.